Hello, class. So we're going to keep going and learning our genetics problems. Just a little review. So far, we have talked about how you have two alleles for every gene, and we've described how you would have uh, a dominant allele and a recessive allele for that gene, and that would show two phenotypes. So either you show the dominant trait or you show the recessive trait. After that, the next day, we talked about how you could also have two alleles that both are dominant. So, two dominant alleles. And then they're going to show incomplete or codominance. And of course, we write them with the capital letters, with the two capital letters. And in this case, we get three phenotypes. So, like red, white, pink, or red, white, and red and white. So, we had two phenotypes, three phenotypes. So here's the next one. Multiple alleles. You could have some genes have more than two alleles out there for that trait. And human blood type is a really good example of this. And it's one we're going to ask you to learn. So for humans, the A and the B allele shows codominance. And then there is a recessive allele that we're going to mark as lowercase I. So you can see we're using the codominant lettering for the codominant alleles, and we're going to use recessive lettering for the recessive allele. Since we have three alleles for the same gene, it leads to four different possible phenotypes in human blood type. So there's type A, type B, type AB, and type O. If you're wondering what you are, you should ask your parents because babies are typed when they are born and it is put on your birth certificate. And most parents do know their children's blood type. So you could always ask, what are you? And you can even ask your parents what blood type they are, and then you'll see how it works out in these problems. But when we talk about phenotypes, let's talk about genotypes. So to be type A, you would have two A's. That would make sense for the codominant situation. But then you could also have an A and a recessive, remember, because we're going to show the dominant trait in this situation. So we would call this homozygous, and we would call this heterozygous, right? Two different. And then we have type B. So again, you can have two B's, and you would be homozygous for type B, or you have the B and the recessive trait, which is heterozygous. All right, then AB. To be AB, again, they're codominant, so you'd have to have one A and one B. That's how you'd be AB. And then type O is if you have two recessive alleles for blood type, which we mark as little I, little I. So when you're looking up here, what does that really mean? Well, it's all about these proteins that stick to your red blood cells. So this is a picture of a red blood cell. Type O has no proteins. Type A has the A protein. Type B has the B protein. And type AB has A and B protein on the blood cell. So this is just showing you, always this leads to questions about donating blood and receiving blood, and it's really not part of this unit. But we all have the proteins that are on the outside of our cells cause our immune system to work. That's how our immune system works. It's how it identifies, say, the coronavirus. It recognizes the proteins on the outside of the cell as not belonging to the cells of the human host that it's in. So if you're A, then you have blood type A, and you have these little proteins on your red blood cells. So your body knows that that belongs to you and it likes that. But it will have antibodies for the protein that doesn't belong to you, which is group B. So it will fight any blood cells that enter its body if it's B. It'll think it's a foreign invader. So you can see B has this shape, and then it has antibodies for A. So if A was put into a B person, their body would fight off the blood. They would think it was like a bacteria or a virus. If you are AB, you have no antibodies. So you have no antibodies because you recognize both of those as belonging to you. And then if you're group O, you have antibodies for A and B. So all that really tells you is that if you are a type O, your blood, because it has nothing on it, can go to anybody. But if you're type A, only type A and type AB could get that blood. And then type B can only go to B and AB. And if you AB blood can only go to AB. So often they talk about O being the universal donor because anybody can get O blood. Now, we are not talking about pluses and minus or nothing. You either O positive or O negative. So we're not talking about positive and negative. That's another gene. It's called the rhesus factor. And we're not talking about that. But that also positive to positive, negative to negative would be the same. All right. So that, again, that's not really the point of this lecture. The lecture is about multiple alleles. So let's do some practice problems. Okay, so let's do some multiple allele blood type problems. A woman with type A blood whose father is type O marries a man with type AB blood. So we want to know what the parents are. A woman with type A. All right, if we look up here, type A is IA, or IAI. So which one is it? How can we tell from the problem? That's actually why we bothered to tell you her dad. So her dad is type O, which is II. She is type A. Well, she must have got the A from her mom. So because what's she getting from her dad? The only choice is to get a little I from her dad. So it's our way of telling you that the mom is heterozygous for type A. And marries a man with type AB blood. So IA, IB. We're going to make our Punnett squares like we have been doing. Nothing's really changing here. It's just the letters that we're doing and how to interpret the letters. So we have A, I, capital A, and we have lowercase I, capital A, I, capital B. So IA, 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 IB, IA, little I, IB, little I. So now what is the probability they have a child with type A blood? Again, type A is this one or this one. So that would be 1, 2. 2 out of 4, 1/2. Type O. Type O would be this. I do not see type O. So that would be 0. Type B. Type B, right up here. What do we have down here? It looks like this one. 1 out of 4. Type AB, this one. 1 out of 4. Same as mom. Mom is this one, right here. 1 out of 4. And then same as dad. Dad is this one. 1 out of 4. Okay, next example. A man with type O marries a woman heterozygous for type B. So as the parents, we have O and B. Heterozygous. What does the word heterozygous mean? Different. So not two of the same, but two different. So that's heterozygous for type B. So again, for most students, it's the language. It's knowing what heterozygous means, what homozygous means, what genotype means, what it means to be little I. Those are the things that seem to trip the students up the most. It's not really making Punnett squares. That's not the hard part. It is understanding the questions in the problem. So This is going to be our situation here. And now we answer the questions. What is the probability they will have an AB child? 0. None of them. B child. 1, 2. 1/2. Same as dad. What is dad? Dad is O. So this one, 1/2. Same as mom. What is she? She's this one, 1/2. And that is how you do the problems for blood types. Now it's your turn to learn and practice.